Well, it's confession time. As you can see, I've got the tops off the carburetors. I'm about to remove the carburetors again. Bollocks. Why, you may ask? Well, I've put one of them together wrong, and I think it's this one, which means I've now got to undo this, which means it's going to leak, which means I've got to put them all together again on the bench and test them again. It's a bit of a pisser, but hey, there you go. I'd rather discover this now than when I'm trying to start the car. I have one of the butterflies in the wrong way. Obviously, when I was putting it together, I don't know, must have had a brain fart or too many gin and tonics, not sure which. So I'm going to take them off, and when I put them back on, I'm going to put them back on singly, because that means it'll be easier to get to these nuts, which was an absolute pig to get to because I put both carburetors on at once. That was a mistake, but hey, you know, shit happens. You gotta do what you gotta do. And also I'm going to sort out this this pipe as well and get it at the right angle. And in fact, looking at it, I think I may even strip it off and zinc plate it. Yeah, I know. Why do I say I think? I know I'm going to do it. I was discussing that with my wife earlier, saying that I'm watching this guy rebuilding 100E, and he says, well, I think I'll do this, I think, well, maybe I'll do this, and maybe I'll do that, and then he says, I know I'm going to do it. And that's me too. Exactly the same. I know I'm going to do that. So, let's get these carbs off, get the starter carburetor off, and I'm not happy with this starter carburetor, so I've ordered a reconditioned one from a guy on eBay. It wasn't cheap, but I'll sell these parts because I believe this works okay. I'm just not happy with the body of this one, or the thread there. I'm not happy with that thread. Yeah, it didn't feel right. I'm not sure if it's cross-threaded or what, but it just didn't feel right, so it's going. I'm not gonna fuck around. All right, let's get these babies out of here. Okay, you may notice here I have the carburetor tops, and you don't want to get this shit mixed up. So I just wrote an F on with, you know, a pen. F for front, not fucking rear, front. Yeah, and I got all new springs. I mean, I rebuilt these carburetors. Of course, now I'm looking at these and thinking, maybe I could polish those a bit better. Will I? Who knows? I got some prezzies. Two lovely stainless steel hoses, or stainless steel braided hoses for the fuel pump. This one is PC 21680SS, and this one is PC 16355SS. They are lovely. They got the correct ends on them as well. This is the one that comes from the tank, and this is the one that goes through to the fuel system in the car. And as you can see, it's got that nut on it, so that's where it bolts through the boot. This was the kit of the 5-way brake union, P431436, and that is now installed. Let me get a light so we can see it. There it is, installed, and I put all the connections in without the bolt being through to the inner wing. That way it made sure that I could get them in there without crossing the threads. Ironically, they supply a copper washer for the brake light switch, but it's the wrong size. More Chinesium crap. And what was annoying is I only wanted to buy the union. I didn't want to buy anything else. I didn't need the bolt, I didn't need the bloody switch. But no, you have to buy it as a complete kit. Guess it's just their way of fucking with you. Alright. What's next? Oh, I can fill the brake system full of fluid now. And I will be using DOT 5, which is a much better fluid than the standard DOT 4. For one thing, I believe I'm correct in saying it's not hygroscopic. So that is good. And I can also fill up the clutch with DOT 5 because that's all connected. Then I can bleed the systems. And I can also put the battery in now and try and see if the car will turn over on the starter. Then I took the carburetors off because I was not happy with that pipe. I believe I've mentioned it before. Hang on a second. You see how it is there? I'm just not happy with it. And also this was coming in at the wrong angle, so I'm going to take that off and redo it. I must admit I really don't like the colour of that pipe, but it's meant to be ethanol resistant. Yeah, maybe later I'll see if there's some, well, I wanted clear, you know, clear, like clear, but no one seemed to have any. I didn't want to put black on there, that kind of, yeah, but maybe that's where I'm going to go, because I must admit I am not impressed with the colour of this shit. Okay, ho-hum. Yeah, that's just one of those things you got to deal with or ignore. Right, what next, he says. I'll fill the fluids, put the battery in, check for leaks. Oh boy. Oh, and also I'm replacing the starter carburetor. This one, I think the thread got crossed. I'm not sure when it got crossed. It's probably savable, but I've just bought myself a refurbished one instead. Wasn't cheap, but hey, you know, 'tis what it is. Saves me doing a lot of work. Same number, AUC 2761. So if anybody wants this one and they reckon they can repair that thread, do let me know. As far as I'm aware, this is perfectly good. It works. It's just that I'm not happy with that thread, and I don't have the correct dye for that. I'm sure somebody does. Tap, not dye. Okay. Well, let's get on and get some fluid in. What do you think? Yeah. Yep, this is the stuff I'm going to put in there. DOT 5.1. I don't know why they didn't say DOT 6, but okay. DOT 5.1 is the stuff I'm going to use. Non-silicon base. So hopefully this is good shit. It wasn't cheap. Yeah. Let's get it in. Yes, this is a momentous occasion. Doing a vacuum bleed on the brakes. See if I can get some pressure there. I'm getting, oh, there you go, a few more bubbles. Okay, that's good. Now, a trick that someone else taught me is put some PTFE tape on the thread here. The main reason for doing that is, although the brake fluid may affect it, that doesn't matter. So when you're bleeding, you don't suck air in around this joint. Now you could probably use some kind of gasket sealant, you could use all sorts of things. I just happen to choose PTFE tape. I think it's called PTFE, not PFTE. Oh well, I'm sure there is someone out there that will correct me. All right, let's continue bleeding. Now, with brakes, I'm sure you're aware, but I'm going to tell you, you always start with the brake that is furthest away from the master cylinder, and then the next furthest away, and then the next, and then the next. That way, you ensure that you get the air out of the system. This is going to take a while. Now I'm just putting about 15 psi on this. I'm not doing any more, and as you can see, as it drops down, it's sucking the fluid through. I'm going to give it a few more minutes, and then I'm going to crawl about underneath and look at all the joints to make sure that I'm not sucking in air or leaking fluid. So that's something you must do, or something I must do. So let me get on with it. Houston, we have a problem. Yep, brake fluid. And what it is here on both calipers. When the pipes were supplied, they were supplied with concave ends, and these don't require that. They just require a straight connection and a copper washer, but none of that was supplied. I assumed when S&G Barrett sent me the kit there would be everything. How stupid of me. They supply it and it doesn't go together. Well, it goes together, but it leaks like a sieve. Alright, well, the back ones are fine. There was a small leak at one of the joins and I've dealt with that. This leak was somewhat larger. So now what I have to do is clean all this shit up. Thanks S&G Barrett, wasting my brake fluid. Now I've got to go down to my local hardware store, get some nuts, get some copper washers, and then hopefully I'll be able to seal it. Oh, and then just extra security or extra prevention of leaking, I'm going to use PTFE tape on them.